Hello guys, welcome to my channel Initiative World. This session is in the continuation of data types in Python, and today we are exploring on the Boolean data type. So what exactly this Boolean is? So Boolean is a data type which is used when you are trying to understand the any kind of an expression or want to evaluate any values, compare two values. In such scenarios, you can use this Boolean type data. So what exactly this is going to give it an output is a in true or false. So whether this particular condition is met, if yes, then true, if not, then false. So in such way they are evaluating the expression. So let's see this with an example so you will have a clear picture. If I say there is 30 is greater than 20, if this condition, if this expression is true, then such scenario, the output of this particular, when you run the cell, it will give you true. If this expression is false, then it will return false. So that's how Python understand and evaluate or compare any two values. So if we run the cell, then it will generate in something in true and false. Here, it's not that exact number. It is giving you whether this condition are true or false. So when you try to compare any expression or want to understand or evaluate any expression in that scenario, Boolean works. If I say something like 30 is equal to 20, so what this equal to double equal to will try to compare that whether this is equal or not. So something which is compared on the terms of equal, and now run the cell, it will give you false because 30 and 20 both are different. This is not equal, so it will generate false. So if I say again same thing, 30 is greater less than 20, and in such scenario this has to be false. So that's how this Boolean works. Let's say I want to check whether this number is greater or greater than the another number or not. Let's evaluate this. So for this case, let's say if a is equal to 200 and b is equal to 10, and now let's check with an if else condition whether this is true or false. So here in Python you should write directly with as an if a is greater than b, then what it should be print in terms as a is greater than b, else print a b is greater than a. And now let's check this one. So how I write here is if else statement. I have mentioned that if then is being done with this colon sign. If this condition, then print, and this is called the indentation. That's how the Python works here. Indentation is really important. If you write something just in a front, let's say this, and try to run it, it will generate an error. You should always write something where here with an indentation. This is what with a one tab, there's a difference here. Then if this is true, else then, this is how the then works here with the colon sign, and now then print b is greater than. This is how the if else statement would work. And now let's check whether this condition is true or false. Run the cell, a is greater than b, because this condition met because a is greater than b. Let's say I want to do the same thing, but I want to give user the flexibility that they can give it a number and they can perform on their own, whatever the value they give, and this is what they generate here. So let's say a is equal to, in the earlier and the previous session, I have already explained how you can give it this. So here you should write int, and input is the function where you should give an prompt display where the user can enter their own value. So here enter a, okay, enter A, and now B is equal to int. Why there is a typecasting work here? Because otherwise the by default of this input function is in the string format. That's why we are writing here. Now enter B. Okay, so this is how the input is already given. Now if A is greater than B, in that case print A is greater than B. Else if elif is there, which is works as else if A is equal to B, because I want to check whether this is both values are true, or in that case both are equal, then what? Then print A is equal to B. Else what? Else print B is greater than A. Okay, and now run this cell. How the user will get flexibility. Now here I'm going to write 100, and here I will write 200, and let's see the B is greater than, because 200 is greater than 100, and this condition failed, this condition also failed. That's why the else part work here. Now let's run one more time and see if in case they both are equal. Worked. So they are equal. So this was false, this was equal. So that's why it generated you this one. Now, in case if I say something, let's say 100, and here I write 20, and in that case A is greater than B. So this is how you can do your Boolean expression, and it's how you can use the if-else statement as well. But in every if-else statement, this condition has been checked whether this expression is true or not. And this is how you can give it a user trial, that user can enter any value, and this is what your if-else statement it worked out, which is same as that what you do with this condition. So this condition has been checked, and that's how you can use in the if-else statement. So this is how you can use Boolean expression in your if-else condition. At the same time, you can perform on an individual level. But there is one more point which is left here, that is the checking of whether this particular is in the Boolean or not. X is equal to hello and y is equal to 15, and let's check whether this is in Boolean or not, or not Boolean, but actually we are converting it into a Boolean. So now run this cell, and it gives you true. The point is here that you changed this to a Boolean. You made a change. You did this as a conversion, and you change it to the Boolean. Else this is are in the string, this is in the integer, but you still made it, and it gives you in a Boolean. So you can do in this way. Now let's see if this is an also can be converted to a Boolean or not. Boolean, and I want to see if this is in false, then what it will give you. Run this cell, it will give you in false. Exactly, because this is in Boolean, and you tried again to the Boolean, this is also going to give it in a Boolean, because this is false, this is direct false, it's not written in a string. But even if it's written in a string, you can make it in a Boolean, but this then it will give you true. Let's say if I write something here, then if you try this, then it will give you true, because this is a string. Now it's in quotes, but if I write without quotes, then this will consider as a Boolean, and now try this, it will show you as a false. But now what about these things? These are very exceptional. Not all the time you will face it. So we'll see this one by one, that what exactly this in gonna return you. Let's say something in an just an empty bracket, double quotes, and now try to run this. It will give you a false. So understand this. These are the exceptions where you get it something as in false. If it's something with a, let's say, I want to see something with a numeric number, and now run this cell, it will also give you false. You must be wondering, right? Because here it was 15 and here it's 0, and still this one is true and this one is giving you false. Then because there is an exception for 0, the consideration of 0 is you can also consider 1 as in true and 0 as in false. Let me show you this. False. Because true is equal to as in 1, you can consider in a Boolean format, and 0 as in false. So always think before you, try to judgment over this one. The next one is open and close parenthesis. So how that works, let's see this one in individual level. Um, False, because this is completely empty. Similarly, let's say if this is a box bracket, then try to run this. This is also going to be false because there is nothing as such. Even if it's curly braces, then also false. Let's say if I add something here as an A, then what? Then it's a true. First, because it was completely empty, and if you understand this, actually this is a box bracket which works for the list, and this is empty list, that's why it's giving you a false. And this is an empty set, that's why it's giving you a false. This is empty tuple. If something is an open and close bracket is a round bracket, then it is a tuple, that's why. Let's say if here I write here something as in 10 and now run this, it's going to give you true, because that tuple is not empty, it's still some values in it. And now this one is left. Let's see this. So what about this none? Try to see what exactly this none gonna give it. It's a false. So this is what the most important Boolean and their related concepts, which is really helpful. This one is the one which you will most frequently gonna use, because at the end you are going to write an application where if and else statement is really important, and in an if else statement, these expression, on what basis you give it this print command or any of the further condition. So I hope you like this video. If you really like, then do like, share and subscribe to my channel. And for more such videos, please hit on the bell icon. See you on the next one. We'll see some other data types. Till then, happy learning.